All right, hey guys. So today in class we are learning something new, but still relates to what we're talking about in class. Our new topic is about factoring out the GCF, which you may remember from Creekview stands for greatest common factor. So in order to know how to factor out the GCF, we have to remember how to find factors. So let's look at a couple examples here. Let's look at the factor or the term 18. The factors of 18 are 1 and 18 because they multiply to make 18, 2 and 9 because they multiply to make 18, and 3 and 6 because 3 times 6 is 18. Okay? Let's look at the factors of 12. So the factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and 3 and 4. Every pair here multiplies to make 12. So if we want to find the greatest common factor of these, we need to look at the ones that are in common. So we're always going to have a common factor of 1. So we're really going to kind of ignore 1 because every number is going to have 1 in common. So yes, we've got 1, but we're going to ignore it. Then looking, I've also got the common factor of 2 and the common factor of 3 and 4. So based on the name, greatest common factor means I want the one that is the biggest. So the greatest common factor here would be 6. Okay? All right, we're going to move on from there. And we're going to look at how we can use the greatest common factor right now in 7th grade. Feels like a 6th grade thing, but nope, we can use it in 7th grade. So factoring out is kind of like the opposite of the distributive property, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a simplified expression like 3x plus 12, and we're going to go backwards and take it back to the non-simplified version, which looks like a distributive property. So we're working backwards here, or kind of undoing the distributive property. So we're going to start here this time and end here, which is the exact opposite of what we used to do. In order to accomplish this, we are going to use something called the box method. So let's start off with the problem 4x plus 12. 4x plus 12 is simplified. So there's not anything I can do there, but I can go backwards and unsimplify it, known as factoring out, which means we're going to find the GCF and pull it out of our equation in front, like with the distributive property. So I'm going to rewrite my problem, and I'm going to box it in, making sure to separate my like terms, my unlike terms. So I've got the x's in one box and the 12's in the other box. Now that I've got them separated, I need to find my factors. So my factors of 4 are 1, 2, 4. And my factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So now let's find our greatest common factor. We always know they're going to share a 1, so we're going to ignore that one. Let me change colors here. And then the other numbers we have in common are 2 and 4. Remember, we're looking for the greatest common factor, so we're going to focus on 4 here. So now let's rewrite each of these terms down here with 4 in the problem as a multiplication problem of 4. So this becomes 4 times x, and 12 becomes 4 times 3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor out a 4. So I'm going to pull a 4 to the outside of my problem. So this 4 is gone. This 4 is gone. So now I've got an x up top, and what's only left on the bottom is a 3. So my way to write this as a distributive property is 4 times x plus 3. We can always check ourselves by redistributing and making sure we come up with the answer we started with. So 4 times x is 4x, and 4 times 3 is 12. So because this gave us back to our original, we can say that we were right, and this is the factored out version of 4x plus 12. All right, let's do another example. So let's say we are looking at 9x plus 24. All right. So we're going to rewrite our expression. I'm going to grab a different color here, and we're going to box it in, separating our unlike terms. So now I need to find my factors. So 9 are 1, 3, and 9. And 24, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24. There is a lot for 24. So now let's look at our common factors. So yes, they're all going to have 1, so we're going to ignore 1. And then the only factor that these have in common is actually a 3. So now we're going to rewrite our problem with a 3 in it. So it would be 3 times 3x and 3 times 8. So now we're going to pull a 3 to the front. So now this 3 is gone. This 3 is gone. So we're left with 3x plus 8. So our final answer is 3 times 3x plus 8. All right, if this has made sense to you and you like the box method, please stop the video and go work on your independent practice. Make sure you guys are checking your answers as you go. If the box method does not seem to be working for you, keep watching for an additional example of another way to solve it. All right, so we are now going to look at the example. Let's go with 6y plus 15. Okay. So this time, I'm going to start out by I still have to list my factors. There's no getting around that, guys. So my factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. And my factors of 15 are 1, 3, 5, and 15. So again, we're going to find our greatest common factor. So the only factor we have in common here, aside from our 1s, which we're going to ignore, is 3. So these are our greatest common factors. So you guys remember how we say distribute is say hi and multiply? Well, factoring is the opposite. So we're going to say goodbye and divide. So the 3 is going to say, see you later. He's going to leave. So he exits the party. And then we have to divide everything by 3. So 6 divided by 3 is 2y, plus 15 divided by 3 is 5. So remember, when factoring, since it's the opposite of the distributive property, we're going to say goodbye and divide this time. One more example, and I'll do it very quickly. So if you're liking the say goodbye and divide method, keep watching. So let's do one more. All right, how about 2w plus 8? So again, can't get around the idea of listing our common factors. So my factors of 2 are 1 and 2, and my factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. All right, so we're going to ignore 1. So our common factor here is 2. All right, so since we're doing the opposite of distribute, we're going to say goodbye. So 2 leaves the party. He exits the front door, and then we need to divide everything by 2. So 2 divided by 2 is going to be 1w, plus 8 divided by 2 is 4. All right, you guys have seen 2 different methods on how to factor. Please choose the method you like and complete your independent practice. Good luck.